Thank you for tuning in to this channel. We're dedicated here to solving crime mysteries using psychic readings. And up until last week, I was doing it myself. I was taking a crime, working on it, and then bringing it to my viewers and giving them the results of my visions. Last week, I did a very interesting thing, is that I challenged my viewers to go through a little process, put themselves in a relaxing mode, and see if they could do a reading as well. And I was blown away by how much effort, how much creativity and time was put into this. So I'm going to start doing that more and more because I got some excellent information. So, so what I'm going to do tonight is go over last week's challenge, so to speak, of a mystery down in San Antonio, which was Nicole Olsen and her two children were found dead. Boyfriend Charlie Wheeler had left that night after an argument, and the Emmy had ruled it a murder-suicide. So they had, he said the two daughters, 16 and 10, were murdered, and that the mother, who's 37, committed suicide. The people who knew Nicole totally rejected that, as well as the police. And so the police did their own and are doing their own investigation, and they've called in the FBI to help them as well, particularly forensically. So I asked my viewers to go over this and give me feedback through my Gmail so that everything is confidential. And like I say, I was very impressed, and I'm very proud of everybody. It was really an eye opener. What I had asked was basically a whodunit. I didn't ask for motive, although most of the people, or many of the people, gave me motive or saw motive, which is great because it helped me as well. But uh, they pinpointed who they thought the murderer was, who committed this, and then they gave me the whys. Whys are tough in a reading. Motive typically is done logically after your creative brain has pinpointed the culprit, maybe where the body is or where the crime scene was, and then you hang that up, and then you think about those visions logically and typically can come up with motive. So about 85% of everybody that wrote in and did this work basically said that Charlie Wheeler, the owner of the house, the 31-year-old boyfriend, was the culprit. And he either directly or indirectly killed those three women. About 5%, including myself, said that Nicole was the one that killed the children and also killed herself. And then there's about I think, or 5 or 10% that said that it was a stranger. And many of them had different people, like a pizza delivery man that came back later, blah, blah. And all very, I thought, creatively done. And when I say creatively done, I don't want your opinions I don't want your imagination. I don't want your logic. There's a lot of people, police, everybody can do that. When I'm trying to get across to you and ask you is to go into your subconscious, go into your creative mind and get this, even though it may not make a lot of sense. The vision I got, and it was very plain to me, I got a vision of a vase sitting on a table, and then a long stem red rose is placed in this vase, one single red rose. That told me who the killer was and that the killer did it alone, and it was um, passion was the motive. And I thought that red rose signified this Hispanic woman, beautiful, and with a lot of passion, and I felt that she was the one who did this. And I know that goes against everybody who knew her, and it goes against the majority here. So I'm not the final say so. So we will hopefully see, and as this uh, investigation progresses, we'll find out more. More importantly, uh, there was something that came up with all the readings that I found fascinating. And that was when you sit back and think about this logically. Now we've done our reading, and now we're going to sit back and think, okay, does any of this make sense? So here's my thoughts on this, is that this was a horrendous crime. I mean, it wasn't a car accident. It wasn't a road rage. This was a horrible accident, which included two children, two young girls. So there had to be a really, really solid motive for this. And I had several people suggest, and I think it has tremendous merit, that it is possible that Charlie Wheeler may have been having uh, a sexual relationship with either one of the girls, likely the older. And that, when you think of that, that changes the whole perspective of things. That is certainly a serious enough motive to kill for. And here's why. If the mother found out that the daughter and her boyfriend were having sex, then she's going to go right to the police. And that might have been the argument last night. If she goes to the police, they're going to find this out, and he's going to go away for 20 years. Here's a 31-year-old guy, fairly rich, well-to-do, has a nice business in the oil field, and he falls in love with the older daughter, 16, and has sex with her. She's in love with him, let's say, and but he's going to be. It's still rape. It's still against the law, and he's going to go away for many, many years. That's certainly a huge motive for him to come back that night. He knows the grounds, and it's so he would know how to get into uh, the gated community and kill the three. And it's very likely that the younger daughter knew all about this uh, uh, affair, so she had to go too. So I certainly, from a motive standpoint, I certainly back up the people who said it is definitely Charlie Wheeler. On the other hand, there is a strong motive for the mother as well. She finds out that the daughter not only is having an affair with her boyfriend, but that they are in love. He's 31. Nicole is 37. She's maybe feeling over the hill, and certainly if her daughter says, "Mom, we're in love. He's not in love with you anymore. Uh, we don't want you here. We want to be married, and we want to spend our lives together, whatever." And I can certainly see Nicole going into an absolute rage and doing what she did. So um, I think this is a fascinating story. There's no question about it. But I think, and the police have not said anything about whether the 16-year-old girl was sexually active or anything. And I have gotten some very negative feedback when I mentioned this to a few people who've written me privately, um, where I've said this is possibly the motive, and they were not happy with me. They don't want to think that something like that to occur, but it does, and to me that is the real strong motive on either side, either Wheeler or Nicole Olsen, to do what was done. I throw my hat in the ring that, as I said, that Nicole did it. So we will see what I'm going to do. And thank you very much for responding. I've never enjoyed myself so much, and it was terribly insightful. I mean, it was excellent with what everybody did. So what I'm going to do is put together a very comprehensive email laying out this. Police know a lot more, of course, than we do, but I'm just going to lay it out and send it off to them. And I want to thank absolutely everybody for their participation in this. And I'm going to continue to do this, and I'm going to continue to work on it myself, give you my reading either in the beginning or at the end. But I just think there's so much talent out there, and in the long run too, I think if you'll just stick with this, it'll help you immensely. You'll start to gain a lot of confidence in yourself and realize that you are in fact a unique being, and you start to understand yourself a lot better. And one other thing I'm going to mention before I close is that I've had hundreds of people wanting private readings. Um, and I've done a few. I've sort of burned myself out a little bit, but I've done a few. But the way I'm going to set this up is this. I'm going to accept private readings. I want you to um, write me at my Gmail address, jerry.morris1946@gmail.com, and say, "I'd like a private reading," and then give me the parameters of what you want to know, a little bit of background about the situation, and I will give you a reading back through the email. I will charge for it. The charge will be whatever you decide it was worth to you. Sometimes I can be very curt in a reading. Sometimes there's just not much going on, and I will answer it within, with a sentence or a few words or something. So certainly that's not worth an enormous amount of money. So what I'm going to do is just give the reading back to you, and you evaluate what value it is to you, and then send me the money through PayPal through my Gmail address. It's very easy. So that way I don't feel badly if I come through with, or maybe I'm way off base on something, or I miss something, or you don't relate to it. Then certainly I don't expect very much at all. But I will give it an honest try, and I'll get back to you within a day or so. And and that would be a private reading about you or your close family or something. Now, if there's a crime that you want me to look at, just mention the crime, and I'll look into it to see if it's something that's worth a video being made and for me to work on it. And that certainly is not. That would be a no charge. So Uh, next, I think in the next couple of days, I'm going to make another video, and we're going to go over a case that I've been over once, but I feel like I did a poor job on it. So I'm going to work on it, and then I'm going to hand it over to you. I'm going to give you instructions again on how to do it, and then you can come back to me over the next week and give me your reading, and then we will discuss it just like we discussed the Olsen case here. So hang on, we'll find more about what the FBI says about the Olsen case, and certainly we'll go over that. So thanks for your attention tonight, and I look forward to working with everyone very soon, probably in a couple of days. Thank you.